All right. Good morning from the Virginia 5. Today is a very exciting day for all of us because it is Splash Day on the ship. Splash Day means that it is time for the Virginia 5 to go back into the water. As you can see, the hull is done. It's all painted. All the through hulls have been numbered. The corking is all done, all the cementing, and she is good to go. So it is time to move her out of the shed that she's been living in for the last 5 months and let her taste water again. So a wooden boat is not immediately watertight when put in the water. The corking that was driven between the seams of the hull also depends on the wood planks swelling. So all of the planks of the hull are very dry right now. When she's put into the water, the planks will absorb water and swell slightly, squashing the cotton and the oakum in its seams to make a watertight seal. The swelling process does take several days, so we do expect the ship to leak a little and take on some water when she's put into the water. That is normal for a wooden boat. She's going to have to sit in the water for a few days and swell before she is ready to cruise. But here she is in her shed, ready to go. To move the ship out onto the lift platform is going to take a big winch and cable. So the winch is behind the ship. The cable is going to be run out through the block on the front of the lift platform. You can see this block right here. And then it is going to run back to the ship. They're going to have to go around a couple times to get mechanical advantage because the ship is about 200 tons to move. The cable is quite heavy as well, so to run the cable underneath the ship all the way out onto the lift platform, a forklift is really handy for this operation. So this line has been run all the way under the ship, and the steel cable is attached to its other end. Alright, so here comes the steel cable. They're going to run it out and through the block on the front of the lift platform. It's then going to run back and go to a block that is attached to the cable under the ship. So here is that winch that's going to be moving the ship. It's just unspooling right now as they drag all that cable around. So here's the block underneath the ship that it's going to be run to. So when the winch starts pulling, it's going to go out through the block on the front of the lift platform and back to the cradle to very slowly pull the cradle forward onto the lift platform. Once all the cable is run, we just have to knock out this block underneath the stem of the ship.
Nice work.
And we are ready to start pulling. Remember that we're moving a lot of weight here with 200 tons of Steamship and probably several more tons of cradle. So the cradle has little wheels on it, and then there are tracks like railroad tracks set into the concrete. So the little wheels will just roll along those tracks very slowly as the winch pulls the ship forward. It's very exciting for all of us to get to see the Virginia 5 move out from the shed and back into the open air. You can see there's still a few repairs that are going to be done, but that's all well above the water line, so it can be done while the ship sits in the water and soaks and swells. Once the cradle is securely on the lift platform, it is time to start dropping the ship into the water. This platform is powered by an electric engine, which drops this platform into the water, and of course also raises it back up. So here's that engine powering all of this. And then the water starts pouring in over the platform. Alright, it is now time to drop the ship. So this is a slow process. I've sped the footage up quite a bit for your enjoyment. Once the ship is back in the water, it is time to go inside and down into the bilge to check and see how much water is coming in. And the answer turned out to be a lot. Actually, an abnormal amount of water coming into the ship. We expect to see a trickle. This is more of a stream. A pump was put in the bilge to try and keep up with it, but we determined that the amount of water coming into the ship was not normal. So it was decided to actually lift the ship back out of the water to see if we could identify where the leak is. These hoses are from the pumps. We can't pump the water from the bilge overboard because of the oil in it. And when we lifted the ship out of the water, well, the leak was fairly easy to see. We did not have to go hunting for the leak that was letting water into the ship. It looks pretty bad, but this leak will just get a patch on it. And once the leak was patched, the Virginia 5 was dropped back down into the water. She's going to sit on the cradle for a little while to let the hull plank swell. And this time, with that patch over that leak, the bilges are not dry, but the amount of water coming in is about what we expect. The pumps are going to stay down in the bilge for another few days. They just turn on a timer and pump water out of the bilge and into the storm drain behind the ship. We expect the planks to finish swelling in a few days, and then we will be able to keep up with any water coming in on our own until the swelling is finished. And then, honestly, she should be pretty watertight. We don't normally have much water coming into the ship from outside. While she sits and swells, the shipwrights will be working on the last few repairs. So down here in the bilge now, much drier, much less water pouring into the ship. This is what we want to see when the ship is launched. So here she is, sitting pretty back into the water, the way a ship should be. We're very excited to have the Virginia 5 back into the water after 5 months on the hard in the dry air. So a few dockside repairs are going to get done, and we hope to have the ship out by the end of the week for our first cruise. Be sure to tune back into the channel as we get steam up for the first time this year. It'll be very exciting. But thank you all for tuning in to the Virginia 5 channel. We hope you will subscribe to the channel and keep tuning in for more content about our 103-year-old steamship, the Virginia 5. Until next time.